actually wondering too, like how Newbee are meant to try and deal with this, because you got to understand this attack from OG, it's going to come from all sides. So how do you approach it then as Newbee? Do you just focus on your lanes? Do you focus on your rotations? Is that what you do?
Depends on what they think is going to happen in the off lane. So we usually see Enigma actually in dual off lanes. He's like half jungling, half denying the range creep, and then a support just leeching in that lane. But if they just have the Enigma down there, they can approach it a little bit differently and just try and kill him. But if there's a support there, maybe they can focus on the other lanes and go on the Storm. So it just depends. It's really easy with heroes like Monkey King. You can just sit in the trees and absorb while Enigma goes to jungle those two camps. And looking at the beginning of the game, Radiant have not been able to invade the Enigma's two spawns.
Yeah, it's just the basic standard stuff. Even with Enigma, like when you're running on that dire side, isn't it easy
This
enough
is not
just to
standard,
farm
Toby.
next to the secret?
This is not.
You don't like that Radiant Observer ward as a standard ward?
No,
you can't get in?
Usually you try and focus on the Enigma because he's the one that's going to be jungling the most. Usually Storm Spirit jungles like maybe like 5 to like 8, but Enigma jungles very early on.
But we're also looking at like the off lane Enigma. So like, what are you going to do to really stop that?
Well,
he's just going to sit on the bot lane.
He's not that strong at level 1. He has no escape. All he has is being able to deny the range creep. So without that.
So do you then just like run Jirax more as this like babysitter? Like if things get rough, I suppose he needs to also be level 2 before he can really do much.
Yeah, he has the boots.
So
he wants to make stuff happen.
Utilize the camps next to Secret Shop. Find your farm there.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. But that's why the Radiants usually counter it with obs or sentries. They block both the camps usually. You can get a 30-second spawn, the 1-minute spawn, and a 3-minute spawn. So by the time Enigma's like jungling phase is generally over, the camps respawn again, and then he's a little bit under-leveled. He's their main team fighter. They need him to get pretty big, get mech and whatnot, and try and fight because as general with Lifestealer lineups, things are going to be pretty swift from Newbee's side.
But with all those resources committed to the Enigma, like you look at what Newbee's focusing on now, the 4-man spoke maneuver up to the dire safe lane. That's going to be No-Tail's area. Do you shut him down instead? Like you accept the fact that Enigma's going to find the farm, but then your trade-off is going to be like your timing, where you get like your Blink Dagger on your SK, or like your SF and your Lifestealer start hitting harder. Are you then able to deal with the Naga? Actually, can you even do that? Because if the ET gets levels, he's going to counter push you.
Yeah, I think that's why they're changing their game plan to actually invade their safe lane instead. If Fly doesn't get big, it's actually a big issue too. If he doesn't get like his normal items, they won't be able to like if they get like a Roche on Storm Spirit and all these other items, then it's going to be way more difficult. They can only put out so many fires at once.
Very smart from OG. They've backed up. Maybe not understanding if Newbee were going to attack or not. There's no vision really on the bottom lane that tells them anything about this. It's just more of a safety thing. And with these pauses happening as well, you definitely don't want to be in a position where you, because we got a little bit of a sound issue by the sounds of it. Pun was not intended. Just get back into a safer zone. Don't risk anything for now.
I was thinking about Enigma. Are you a plus 90 or whatever GPM talent or cooldown reduction? So like 120 versus 15%? I was about to say 12. I think it's 15%.
I am always going to go for cooldown reduction on the Enigma.
Always.
Always.
We need like a personality test for Dota. It's like, would you take 120 GPM or would you take 15% cooldown reduction on Enigma?
Well, and then it like pumps it out. It's like, well, you were close enough to this pro player who would normally do this. It's like,
That'd be a cool personality test. It's like, would you call Bane Elemental Bane or Atropos?
You just...
PBD calls it Atropos. Atropos.
Would it be Abaddon or LOA?
No one calls it LOA anymore.
No, but I always think of it as LOA. That just shows like how old school you can be.
Are you an S&Y kind of lifestealer, or are you an Armlet Dezo kind of lifestealer? That'd be interesting. I always like the different personalities of players and what they build. There's some that are like super rigid with their builds too. Like, no matter what, they'll go, but people like, I was just looking at Fly, he's pretty flexible on his Visage builds.
That's right, you just put your Broodmother build in. It's like, who are you? Well, I'm Baby Knight. I rush Radiance first item. That's what I do.
Are you that kind of guy?
Yeah, if you are that kind of guy, you are a wonderful person.
What would be the 8 personalities with Dota if there were a personality test for Dota?
Could you limit them to just 8?
Well, that's how the standard personality test is. Do you think you can limit all of humankind to just 8? Apparently.
You could probably pump in your information and see who you're close enough to. Like, that's something I reckon Nahas could probably cook up in, like, the kitchen or something.
Well, we have a project for you, Sir Nahas.
Yeah. We want to have a personality test. Which pro player are you more like because of your decisions in Dota 2?
Which courier are you? Are you a
Ramnot
faceless Rex sort of guy,
or
are you a Ramnot with
I'm a fluffy devourer of weeds.
Do you have the cool flames?
Flames?
Wasn't there one courier with like the flames, the war dog?
Oh, you're talking about the very, very rare courier that actually came out.
Please, what else would I be talking about, Toby?
Yeah, it had a very special custom effect, which no longer works in Dota 2, because it got destroyed, I believe, when the Source engine got upgraded. So it disappeared. But yeah, there was a very rare courier from the defense. There was only like maybe 4 or 5 released at the time. So it was, yeah.
I think that's you remember we were talking about the gems of Terrorblade and his Arcana? I think that gem for the War Dog is one of the most expensive gems.
Really?
Yep, because it's super rare, and it was really cool. Technical issues.
Yes. Hopefully, it looks like it was Jirax who was the one having the issues, and the admins have now moved away from Jirax's PC. I saw him tweaking his audio at the very, very start. I also saw a large amount of laughter coming from that booth. When they first picked up the Visage, the entire like OG lineup was just like having a giggle. So either someone cracked an amazing joke at the time, or they were just like, yep, we know the reaction everyone's going to have to this.
Can you think of any Visage jokes on the fly?
Any Visage jokes? No. I have trouble winging it.
We're done here. We're done here, Toby.
You asked for it. All right, so now it's OG who gets to be aggressive. They 3-man smoke in. They put the Observer Ward down, and they're looking around the back. SC, where do you find your opening? It's actually even Warlock as well running up next to the pit, so Notel says hello. And it's the Warlock who has to run away from Elder Titan.
They've done that gank one too many times. I think I've seen them do that a few times, where they wrap around to the Radiant Ancients, and then they try and gank the hero trying to go on the Bounty Rune. I think generally it's like super weak heroes like Invoker and SF that they prefer to do that towards.
It's going to be hilarious to listen. I don't know if you guys can hear the crowd in the background, but every single time SC is looking to get a CS in the mid, everyone's going nuts for them the second it happens. So this crowd's going to be rather biased. Obviously, we will not.
They probably have like a special soul counter for Shadow Fiend.
Just have it up on the screen.
SCCC soul.
This is the balance. Wait, hang on. He doesn't have the winning balance right now. Troublesome. Well, we have fun battle in the mid anyway.
Level 1 stun, too, on KP. You usually see Caustic a lot more if you're trying to pressure melee safe laners. I'm a little surprised that he did go with that. I guess sometimes if you're scared about dying, you go for the level 1 Burrow Strike. But
would you be worried about pushing the lane as well if you got the Caustic?
Pushing the lane's okay. There's not really... they can actually utilize the neutral camps that they do push the lane. So pushing a lane, sometimes a good thing.
Well, S4. He's not getting all the CS he's probably looking for on that bottom lane, but he's keeping the creep wave back, which is nice. Faith having some troubles getting hit by the phone book of Jirax. No tail, able to get the ensnare off. Faith, real trouble and Fly. The man who had to get big for OG will spill the first blood just shy of the 2-minute mark.
There's just no pressure coming out from the lane. You have level 1 heal on a Warlock and level 1 Burrow Strike. There's just not enough damage. And Faith, I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to do, going all the way up there. Maybe just trying to interrupt the pool or scout out the pool or something like that.
And now he's trying to steal runes, but you got Fly rotating down as well. So you'll have the heal that will give some Faith a little bit more life. The slow from the Grave Chill. Fly still trying to keep him down, but he's not level 2 yet. So without the Soul Assumption, they don't have the burst damage that OG would really like. You can Burrow Strike back, but Faith's already expended the Shadow Word to heal himself up. So it's more trade-off for trade-off, but it's creating more and more space now for Naga Siren.
She's happy. You don't really want to see any heroes in your lane as Naga. You just want to be you versus the creep world. That's the dream.
All right, so U9 is having the time of his life. Completely, I'd say uncontested lane. The Enigma still been taking one creep off the lane and then using it to farm up the side camps. But Enigma is no longer showing himself on the bot lane. Is that when line should be up there as well, like getting up in his face? You mentioned like the lack of warding to actually counter the Enigma's camps. What can Kaka do to actually stop just this uncontested farm of S4?
You counter greed with greed, similar to how we saw like the Alchemist versus a lot of anti-mages. I somewhat view that the same way as playing against Enigma. Enigma will farm a little bit faster than you, but if it's off lane, he has to have a lot of downtime because he has to move in between the lane and the neutrals a lot. But I think he can just pull, get 6, kill some people, make the Storm's life miserable. That's why they picked the last pick Lion. A little bit light on the disable. It was just the Sand King before.
Well, that's not a good thing to have happen. But so far at the start, mid lane looks pretty even. I think the only thing which you might probably poke as a problem here for OG is just the farm coming into No-Tail. But this is a Naga Siren. We've seen OG do it in the past, even when they were trying to pump extra levels into Jirax, when they ran the Pudge combination with the Naga Siren, where you'd actually end up having Naga going jungle, like pulling for the first couple of levels, and then would easily be able to catch up. So probably wouldn't flag actually that CS of No-Tail being low as a bad thing for them.
I wonder how early they want the Lifestealer to go into the jungle. At some point, you do need to contest OG's jungle. That has to happen as they sometime in between like the 7 to the 12 minute mark. And I guess he can probably do it when he gets phase armlet. But
is it worth sending him in earlier so your Lion is able to hit up his level 6 faster? So then you can get like gank rotations with a Finger of Death.
Sometimes it's pretty hard with a Lifestealer, but I doubt OG are going to make like super aggressive moves. I don't think they're going to be like diving the T1 on top, or maybe, I mean, they could potentially like smoke rep around mid and kill the SF, but I think they're more concerned about getting their items up and running. Getting their level 6s.
This OG lineup, and I'm wondering actually like average game time style of approach for OG, because I remember when OG was first formed, most of their games they would try and win around the 30 to 35 minute mark. They would itemize for it, they would draft for it, and it was just so damn strong. This kind of gives me a flashback to that kind of draft. Like, we don't really feel pressured. We're going to be able to find our farm, and then we're going to hit this really sweet timing when Newbee won't be able to contest the OG lineup. And even if you do, you just turn on Song of the Siren.
Lifestealer is actually pretty decent at dealing with Song, though. If you get like let's say infested Sand King goes onto the Naga, if they can actually find the real Naga, she will die very quickly. Like you can't really create enough space to like ensnare and run away.
I suppose that's actually like true. Like there's no instant disable when you do go for that kind of jump in. Like ET takes time for his stomp, even though he can do it from range. And Storm's Vortex still requires him to be in position for it. Familiars take a second to drop. It's like the initial stun of Maleficent, but even then you got the cast time on it.
Sand King's, I think, the most crucial hero on Newbee's side by a long shot. He has a lot of stuff to do in this game. He's like the main initiator on their side. He has to kind of set up for the Warlock hole. He's going to be the main infest target. He needs to get his blink at a pretty decent timing, like well before the Radiance on the Naga. He just has a very tough game ahead of him, KP.
That's a lot of pressure to put on him, but he always seems to have that pressure. No matter how the Newbee lineups work, you always seem to have KP in a position where he needs to find farm, even if it's not always on the safe lane. This is like style shot now.
That's creepy. That's like the only thing moving in any of these shots is
his jaw.
Yeah.
He's even got a little twitch for it. All right, well, monitors are back on, and so is the game. And we'll just see how much farm KP can get off this top lane. Already had a couple of problems with the ganking, but that Observer Ward is serving them well, so they know that Jirax is rotating over. Not an instant reaction for it. Looks like KP's not too concerned either. Now that Caustic is up, No-Tail's going to be a little bit more cautious about coming closer.
It's a very early raindrops from the Naga. Usually you'll see the Aquila, especially in a tri lane, you get 3 times the value from the mana regeneration. But he is going to have some mana issues, it looks like.
Oh, they're spiriting forward. KP wasn't up far enough to really try and capitalize on it. Meanwhile, Anna's already abandoned middle lane for a quick little bit of a flash farm for him. Up against that SF, I suppose you've got to be cautious about it. Getting SF up into levels, his souls are starting to build up. That's a lot of damage that can come the way of a Storm Spirit who doesn't have an escape mechanism yet. Well, now ensnared, top lane, the Burrow Strike catching out too. Vagabond's also connecting him up, so OG will not want to commit too heavily to this. So KP creates the space, even though OG are the ones to initiate.
That was a really great stun by KP. He has to stop the ET from getting off the stomp. So all in all, things going pretty okay, I would say. Just run-of-the-mill, you know, straight kind of average start for OG.
Yep. But that's what we're expecting, right? Like, that's what both teams have drafted for.
It could have been a lot worse. I think the Storm could have been taken advantage of a little bit more. Perhaps whatever they want to do with the Lion. But
Kaka going to take a fair amount of damage. Is there a TP rotation to come in? The ping's already coming out for it.
Such
and
a
with the
dangerous
Observer
spot.
Ward, they know about it, and Kaka, he's just going to salve up and run away.
It's not an easy place to invade. Like, look at his position. He could have easily been wrapped around. Southwest, there's a shrine. Northeast, there's a T2. And southeast, there's a T1. So there's 3 places they could potentially TP to.
I suppose it would be a victory, though, right? Like, if he's able to get away and force a rotation out,
Yeah,
you can create that 1v1 scenario, because it would have had to be Fly who TP'd in.
Yeah, their catch is not particularly good.
Looks like S4's now working out why he was so confident to go up aggressive. Takes out that Observe Ward in the bottom lane.
Early raindrops for Enigma, too. That makes 2 raindrops.
Maybe they're just, what are they actually worried about? It's going to be Lion, right? Like,
it's nice mana if you don't want to get Arcane and Soul Ring. Arcane Soul Ring, I think, is overkill on mana. But it's a nice in-between, because they're worried about the early pressure, I think, massing up on the raindrops. It's actually pretty unusual for this type of game.
Anna, he's moved over. They can start attacking into KP if they got detection. Yes, they do. The Sentry Ward is down. Notel trying to keep Faith a little bit further out. Same with G-Rex. Anna jumps forward low on mana, but with the stomp is enough damage to kill off KP. Faith retreating back to his own T1 tower, but the Soul Assumption flies in. One more book slap is still not enough, but the attack from Anna will be there. He'll pick up a double kill on his rotation out from mid lane / jungle. And that's now 3-0 in favor of OG.
So much for stopping the Naga Siren.
They tried.
They tried, but OG had the game plan of, okay, we're going to secure our Naga Siren sword. They weren't really contesting Enigma at all. It's just a Lion. They're not really scared of a Lion, and Lifestealer wasn't really able to go into the area because he's just farming the lane. Lifestealer is, I would say, second most important hero, because there's a lot on him too, because he's their main damage dealer in the early game. Yeah, maybe like Lion gets 6 and does a finger here or there, but Shadow Fiend's going to be farming up. You usually don't see them get too involved until after their first item.
So you delay the transport for the Lifestealer, so the SK Blink Dagger. So maybe time for KP to actually rotate to the bottom lane. Wow. S4's playing for the long haul, man.
That's not surprising. The Midas on the Lifestealer is way more surprising.
Wait, is he?
Yeah, that's what the quick buy says.
Okay.
He did have a gloves, but you can build gloves into armlet. I think phase armlet is more likely to play for him.
Oh, Storm Spirit's going to get caught out inside the jungle. SC moving beautifully with Lion to catch him out there.
So this jungle evade is happening very, very early on. 8 minutes in, they have the Observer Ward placed down already. They made a smoke rotation, I believe, with the...
They're going to invade heavily. Notel has leveled up Song of the Siren, and he just lets it go. TP's coming in. Enigma has Black Hole. He can set up for 3 of them right now. SK will be in the neighborhood. That's why S4's getting as much distance as he can to the right, and he holds them in with the Black Hole. The 4 of them all caught in with the Storm and the Spirit. Anna will come in, and it is an absolute disaster for Newbee. They're pushed out of the top lane. They look tired, and then they look vortexed.
Oh, that was devastating. Their main way to stop Black Hole is is Warlock Rock. And Rock, he was not even in a good position to drop a Rock, even if he had it, because he got slept and holds.
Yep.
And that's just asking for it right there.
I just love this from S4. So he understands there's no Rock, so what do? You get as far away from the SK. And KP tried. He tried to get in there, but the Burrow Strike range just is not enough.
Even if he had gotten a Burrow Strike off, the damage would have already been done. But J-Rex also hit him with a stomp before, so he couldn't go in. I would have loved to see Newbee's player cams as soon as they're sled. That's one you know you're going to get boned in about 5 seconds.
KP's in trouble. The Spirit's coming in for the stomp. He'll try and hide inside the Sandstorm, but it's not possible. KP will be picked off. That Blink Dagger becomes almost a dream now for him. And OG, the perfect way to approach the game and coming into 10 minutes. Huge fight, lot of space.
Yeah, they got baited in by the Naga. They were trying to go for the Hex on the Naga in that fight. I'm trying to think of like what could have went better for them in that fight. Like even if they had spaced out a little bit more, like let's say only 2 people got caught in the black hole, they still would have gotten obliterated there. So it was just, they feel the pressure mounting. Enigma playing greedily, Naga getting a lot of kills, and her safe lane has been relatively uncontested. Yeah, there's heroes up there, but they're not stopping the pulls. They're just feeding away tons and tons of kills.
So you see Newbee go for a different kind of objective. It's the bottom tier 1 tower. They bring in SCC. They have U9 there as well, and nothing's really going to stop this. While Song of the Siren is down, Newbee know they've got the power to push forward without being straight up contested. No Song, no black hole.
I will say that I'm not a fan of the Lifestealer going Midas though. It's because like he needs to be able to do a lot more damage. Like, trying contesting Naga's farm with a different hero's farm, I think is fine, like anti-mage, but trying to contest it as a lifestealer is generally a losing battle because no matter what items you're going to get, Naga has her skill set just way inherently better at dealing with a lifestealer than lifestealers at dealing with a Naga in the later game.
They're coming for a kill over on Ana. Ana is probably the lowest of all the cores, even though I say that while he's 600 net worth in front of the Naga Siren. Just the fact the Storm Spirit still has to soak up so much space inside the jungle to keep that net worth up. And it's a 3-man smoke to the top lane. No Tails there. Song of the Siren's back off cooldown. And the Sentry Ward is on top of the Observe Ward. As the Creep Wave comes in, it'll actually kill it off. The Razors, okay, Naga Illusions are trying to get rid of it, and they know. Obviously, when SC cuts the wave with Razors, it's also a big indication.
Yeah, there were 2 places they could make the smoke ink. It was one towards the Ancients and one towards the top side. And Ana was already sitting on top of the shrine on the high ground vision. So if they wanted to gank him, they'd have to go to the shrine and place a ward. And even then, it's still risky because he can just zip out. So
KP's out of here. He's heading down to the bottom lane because S4 is still adding pressure to it. And while both the Naga Song as well as the Black Hole is up, you have to be cautious. Yeah, you got Rock up available now too.
The blink is mandatory on KP as soon as possible. They know they can't jump the Naga. They have no way to get on top of her.
Net worth. He's still another 1,000 away from it.
What else? What other options do you have?
But I'd say force the towers at least.
You can't. Like, you'll get slept in a hole.
Yeah, true.
Even just a sleep into Earth Splitter is pretty bad too. So yeah, Warlock can sit out of it, but if you get stomped to an Earth Splitter, you're also going to lose the fight. And Warlock ult isn't really going to save you from that because all that stuff will be precast.
That's some heavy rotation stop. Thanks to Dire Observe Ward this down. They see a lot of this, and Kaka gets shredded apart. Oh, that line doesn't stand a chance. Not with Familiars up in the air. Spirit on top of him. They chain the stuns onto U9, just forcing him back out of the lane. Create a little bit more space and then the wraparound into mid. SC's pushing towards the tower, but it's from behind. Ana with the haste rune, trying to body block and slow up SC. You got another Stomp coming in. There's the damage. It actually keeps the Lifestealer in position from the Song of the Siren of No-Tail. They're grouping up around him. Enigma's coming in. They'll slap down the splitter. U9 drag back into it. That TP taking a little bit too long. They do have the rock from Faithfly. I think he knows he's dead, and Kaka will ensure it with the Finger of Death. Following Sun into Ana, and this is a time when Newbee can get absolutely nothing. Ana has his ultimate. He'll jump away to the safe side of the river. So a 1-for-1 trade-off for support for the SF. But right now, I think Newbee are happy to take anything they can get.
The Naga Sleep was a gamble. He expected more heroes to be right next to the Lifestealer, and then they would have been able to get the hole. But as they tried to scout the vicinity for the Warlock's position, they realized that it was too good of a position. He was on the high ground to the left side where the Ancients were, and there's no way they can really stop him. Storm didn't have enough mana to really go and control him in the fight, and they weren't able to set up with a Black Hole. It's kind of a game of chicken between the Warlock and the Enigma, unless you can get the Warlock in the hole.
You wait until Enigma is able to pick himself up a BKB, and maybe another reason for that Midas. And yeah, as you see it in the quick buy there for S4, it's exactly what he's going for. He's the top net worth on the side of OG at the moment. In saying that, all that money we were looking for to see KP pick up, with that kill that happens in mid, yes, a 1-for-1 trade-off, but you know Song is down, and Newbee, they then capitalized on the moment. They take the tier 1 tower on mid, and now they switch themselves up towards the top lane. KP will have to hold out the bottom. It looks like Lion's actually in a position where, with a double damage ring, doesn't have Finger of Death, however. So actually having enough damage to kill off Ana is unlikely. but they're going to bring down the tower, and this will give just enough money for the SK to get the Blink Dagger. So that critical timing will arrive at around the 15-minute mark.
Oh, they're trying to make a play without Song.
That's optimistic, to say the least. If Jirax can get the Spirit down and then get the Stomp, Optimus may be counting their lucky stars. They'll get the two-man stun. U9 able to just get himself a little bit further away. Another ET split and snaps the mid to the black hole. The perfect synergistic timing. Faith will go down as well. A double kill for S4.
You see Warlock's conundrum? He can't ever just stay out of it. He's like wants to be with his team, and if you get if you leave your teammates isolated, you're just going to be way too far back and you'll get separated, and you'll just get slept while they black hole. So, like either way, it's really difficult. Jirax not going to die.
And it's that Jirax stomp as well. It's OG reading the play perfectly. Yeah, you don't have Song of the Siren to put him to sleep, but instead you got another way. Like we're literally looking at Overwatch right now. We've got 4 Annas on the field as they just put him to sleep. The snap timing in the black hole, it just looks so beautiful. For all those people that love creating highlight videos and just slowing down the moment at like full 4K resolution, that's one of them right there.
So all this has been before Rock has been dropped and before the Sand King gets Blink. Now that Sand King has Blink, the ball can start rolling for Newbee. This is they have to make things happen in the next 5 minutes, or else Naga's going to have Radiance and Bloodstone's going to be out on the Storm, and BKB is going to be up on Enigma. So if they don't make anything happen in the next 5 minutes, it's going to be a long hill to climb back up.
And that's where we have to start looking at the warning. We already saw a quick look at the Observer Ward up next to the Dire Secret Shop. So this is the vision that Newbee have to play with at the moment. The Naga illusions are coming in. They got slightly body blocked up by KP. And then the circle is actually drawn by Visage saying they're around here. So I don't know if...
This is a big kill. He has 3450 gold.
Oh, if they can kill him. I hear the epicenter going off. KP will jump in with the lifesteal, and they have enough damage. He buys the recipe. So No Child tries to at least be a little bit more saving on his money.
How much unreliable gold did he have? I don't think he actually...
He didn't lose that much.
Yeah, I don't think he lost... yeah, he lost a lot. Generally, Nagas have a ton of... that's the way I was like, do you really want to buy your Radiance recipe? Because you farm a lot faster with the...
Okay, they're gonna start line impaling familiars to get them down. I'm fine with that. They're good money. ET trying to create space with a stomp, but it's not going to happen. So both familiars lost, and looks like they don't have a respawn yet. But Anna taking out that bottom tower, rapidly approaching his Bloodstone timing.
Sand King can't show as often as he is. He's the only one that can really make space. Maybe once Lion gets Blink Dagger, they have to worry about 2 heroes, but right now it's just the Sand King. Sand King on that, everyone can feel at ease for OG.
You can see Newbee hoping these ganks actually work. Faith is going into his Hand of Midas on the Warlock.
I think they just have to fall back on their contingency plan, which is try and go for late game. Which
how do you do late game against a Naga and an ET? That D push is unbelievable, and the split push with familiars is also painful.
You just rely on the Warlock being able to cancel the black hole, or people not being able to get caught up by sleep, or being able to BKB rush down the Naga. There's a lot of things they can do.
They're going to need better positioning if they're going to rely on the Warlock for anything. Because like you were mentioning it, like the Blink Dagger's not there, the Rock hasn't been dropped yet, but at the same time, there's been like 2 fights which have happened where Warlock has had the Chaotic offering and hasn't been able to get it off.
The vision game is just much better though from OG. They have the Familiars to scout, they have Storm Spirit, who can also just run around in the backline, and Naga Illusions, and the Spirit actually. So 4 of their heroes can provide vision for the Naga Siren to get a good sleep, or for Enigma to get a hole off. And like later on too, they can even, like once Ana gets Orchid, it's going to be even more miserable for Warlock. They can just sleep whoever they see, and then Warlock can just get jumped by the Storm, and they have no counterplay to Black Hole. And it's a BKB Black Hole, so absolutely no counterplay.
So maybe it just gets to the point where you say, you know what, SC, can you survive? This is one thing which the OG lineup does like a fair amount of, is the ability to rip through like a Satanic target, unless you can keep the damage up.
Surviving.
Yeah, so
surviving Black Hole.
You survived the original burst damage. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's probably going to be an Aghanims Black Hole by the time this game is over.
He's going to try BKB, but that's why they have the Visage. Visage has...
he's going Octarine after. Okay. It's BKB and Octarine for the Enigma.
Octarine's great. I really like Octarine plus Cooldown Rock. Even with GPM and Midas, it's also really good. Your downtime is really low because you need to be able to sync with the Naga sleep. and she'll have what, like 45-second cooldown with the Octarine. So generally, your limiting reagent is going to be the Enigma.
All right, so currently is still a 3 towers to 1 in favor of Newbee.
Ooh, Yules. What's another way to deal with the big or the black hole, but and the net. The net's been owning KP really badly.
It also allows him to do what KP kind of sometimes finds himself doing with these offlaners. He ends up being the perfect split pusher with Yule Scepter and Sandstorm, potentially able to get out of the net of aggression that comes from OG, while still adding that split push, while still getting OG to worry about what's behind them, create space for their wonderful mid player, like to get SC. That big opening, that big play, where OG are a 1-man, 2-man down just because they had to go and deal with the split push.
Split pushing is really hard, though. Naga's really way better at shoving in lanes.
That's why you got a Lion. Mana leak it out and Hex up.
He does
get rid of the illusions really quickly.
He has Blink now, so that's really good for them. Now they have two avenues of approach. I think they can kill anyone with a Blink Hex on the Lion as well, with Infest Bomb.
Oh, Storm. Oh, yeah. Anna just saying hello in the middle lane. More
Surely
than
they've caught out the BKB on SCCC, so now they have to be a little bit more careful about that, how they approach.
Yep.
I think they can just play the farm game now because they have the BKB on the SF. He's not going to be able to farm out that quickly, and that's kind of what you want to be doing as a Naga lineup anyways. It was just
farming. And then make sure you don't have a really, really bad team fight up against the Warlock.
Her net worth is quite low, though.
Yeah.
She's number 6.
Yeah. But I think it's also because Anna took so much of the jungle.
Yeah.
And then Enigma kind of also does a very similar thing. Like Enigma is sitting at #1 net worth for the Dire side. Like if it wasn't for his high net worth, it would be light years that Newbee would have over the net worth of OG.
What talent did Enigma take? Let's check it out. 15% cooldown reduction.
Yeah. He don't need no gold when he's got Hand of Midas. Okay. So the attempt, the Dire, they're scanning up at the moment, but they're scanning their own high ground. Familiars get picked up, and now you actually start wondering about Roshan. The ET Spirit's in there. Look for the stop timing. They jump in. SC, he got the Aegis Immortal. Anna wants out of this one. There's nothing really to gain for OG getting caught inside this fight. So they're going to bail out as quickly as they possibly can.
That was a really good double raise by FCCC, though. That, I think, actually won them the fight, being able to kill those Visage Familiars before they could get in. They had no idea how low Roche was. They had to bring over Jirex, send in the Spirit, and by that time it was at like 5%, which just makes it really easy for them to preemptively pop BKB so they can't sleep seal it. And that was a very, very nice maneuver by Newbee. Now they buy themselves more time. Now SCCC, he's kind of free to do a lot more damage in the team fights, and now they actually have to worry about controlling the Shadow Fiend. Even if he dies during the Enigma ulti, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Here comes Anna. The Burrow Shrine tries to create space. No BKB up for SC. He used it to secure Roshan. The ET Splitter also makes its crack as you fall and die. SC will come back to life again. A quick Song of the Siren. They group up around him, just add a remnant and the stomp and the kill. That was meant to be the fight where the Aegis gave you the advantage. Without the BKB, nothing could protect the SF for the jump in.
Warlock died again in the fight. They have that mid observer ward, and they just saw that the SF was isolated.
It's the observer ward inside the jungle, sees Karka farming, know exactly where he is. So Notel just holds him there. The spirits are down, and Anna slices him too with lightning.
The vision game was poor inside the pit, but great everywhere else. Mid fight bottom, that's what, 4 heroes down. They lost Aegis, still no rock cast. Vaith is kind of at a loss as to how to position himself in these fights. I wonder what item you actually get.
Is Blink Dagger the way to do it, where you get more range? At this point, you'd almost wonder if it's worth picking up like a Shadow Amulet and just prepping yourself in a position.
I think he's going to have the issue but like by the time he actually gets items to deal with the Enigma, Enigma's going to have Octarine Refresher.
Yeah. And
it's not going to matter whether or not you stop one rock, because the damage will already be done, and they'll just cast another Black Hole with a Refresher with second BKB. So unfortunately, the solution was to play better in the first 20 minutes, but that you can't go back on the pass, so he has to look forward to how to deal with it. Blink Dagger is like, I don't
yeah.
I don't know if you want to get Blink Dagger on a Warlock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need something else that's able to protect you but still get you into the fight.
Yeah.
Well, top lane's going to be pushing in for Newbee. Now, the BKB should be back up now for SC. Nagasiren does still not have her song available. It's 15 seconds before it's back off cooldown. And OG have already shown they're happy to lose an objective on the map. They smoke just out of range of the Observer Ward. Now, there has to be some warning bells flagging up here from Newbee. The Radiant scan up, it actually pings correctly. So they understand that OG is moving in. A quick push in. SC actually got forced up into the tower, triggered his own BKB. And now there's no BKB up for this fight. The Song of the Siren groups him in. They're hiding inside the tree lines. Familiars reveal. The stomps can be perfect. And there's your black hole. Only catching one, but it's a big one. Again, they remove the Warlock from the fight. He just can't do anything right. The Life Stealer will get trapped up to U9, protecting himself, jumping inside the Infest. But SC, there is no protection. He's surrounded by a tree and a hard place. And maybe the hard place is bigger with the SK Epicenter. Jirax wants a TP out. The Yule Scepter. He'll cancel it at the last moment as Jirax stunned up, locked up, and brought down. Newbee, even without the rock, maybe it's the fight, but Anna, he's not done yet. He wants round two, able to pull back in the Lion. Kaka will fall. KP and U9, now they have to team up, looking towards S4, munching him down. One more swing. Has he got the range? He does. It's an ultra kill for U9. KP still in the neighborhood. They know Anna is here to fight, but the blink, the burrow strike, familiars are here. Fly has returned, and he's looking for more damage if they can do it. U9 has to rage and protect himself with the physical damage and the soul assumption. He's toggling his way through this fight. The Yule Scepter keeping Visage out. KP, is this a sacrifice? Is he doing it for the team? No, Kaka is here. Create more space, but they're not done yet. The BT's forward. No Tails on the front line. No Song of the Siren. No control, and the disengage is there.
That was a brilliant fight by the Life Stealer. His positioning won them the fight because it made S4 get greedy. He wanted a 4-man black hole, at least a 3. He's like, I could probably get these two guys. He of course wanted to get Warlock, so that's the one that he was definitely looking for. And then he just tried to get the 2 heroes on the north side of the hole, and he actually only got 1 hero with it because he tried to go for 3, possibly 4. Wow.
Oh, what a fight.
What a fight indeed.
You know, when we're coming into the series, I was already expecting some high-quality play. I hope for some fantastic team fights. And I think everything, and this only game 1, 27 minutes in, has already been ticked. And this game will go on for a while. There's still so much for Newbee to work with. Their top 2 cores are up so high. As you can see, there's almost nothing in this game. The D-push, the control that comes out from OG is so fantastic as well. There's no easy solution for either of these teams to win the game.
Naga needs to bump her farm up a lot. She is still very far behind despite having a Radiance at, I would say, a decent timing. But right now, like, the illusions are just so weak that they just die in all the AoE. Sinking ulti, Fatal Bonds, or Requiem easily clears out the illusions, and she's not getting enough Radiance damage in the fights.
But at least the supports are, like, really difficult to kill off too. Like, Fly's finished up his Solar Crest. You've got the Enigma, who's again still #1 net worth on the field, but that Octarine core is rapidly approaching for him. So
Yeah,
even with all the farm that's coming out, you're still getting a lot of work arriving from all 5 heroes.
they have a lot of chances. With the Octarine and the cooldown reduction, you can have Black Hole up every couple of minutes, and you can easily mess up.
It's the blink. It's the blink for Warlock.
It's not a bad option.
He understands, right? Like, he's got to be so far back, and then what do you do as OG? Like, you start scouting with Naga Illusion, start scouting with everything you've got.
To kill the Warlock, I think that's the solution. Or you just get Refresher on Enigma, you just don't care if you get rocked. That's probably the better solution, I'd say.
So you just refresh a BKB and go again?
Yeah, why not? I don't think they can, like, Life Stealer can't do damage to him. The only one that can actually kill him during BKB is SF.
But do you then look for more control coming out from him? Because you start wondering, like, okay, Storm Spirit hasn't got his Orchid, he hasn't got his Bloodborne. Do you have to get the Scythe device over on the Enigma? Do you need items like this to start controlling the Life Stealer so he can't just toggle and rage his way through an engagement?
I think the Solar Crest is actually pretty good to deal with the Life Stealer. You just use defensively on whomever is getting jumped. But I don't know. Maybe I was thinking more about the Warlock Enigma battle. Maybe you go like a Refresher on Warlock to counter the Enigma Refresher.
But then again, he still needs to live. Like, that's true. That's the primary issue of the Warlock in every single fight. He doesn't live through it. And OG have been very good about that. They're target prioritizing. They understand at the start of the fight, the Warlock must die. If he dies, the fight's going to be good for them. or at least it's going to be even for them. They're still battling against a really high net worth SF as well as Lifestealer. This is still a major, major issue for them.
I think they just need a combo to disables. I don't think Enigma actually has to black hole the Warlock. They just need to be able to identify his positioning and silence him. The Orchid's coming up soon on the Storm, and they can just get him to control the Warlock, and then Enigma can, you know,
just do his thing.
Peaceful. Yeah,
but then where does your damage come? Like the Enigma throws out the black hole. Is that enough damage in itself?
Earth Spirit, or sorry, Elder Titan is more than enough, I would say.
With a combo? All right.
Yeah. That's a lot of damage, and it's through BKB with Midnight Pulse and the Earth Splitter, so that's good enough. Maybe once the Satanic comes out on SF, you might have a little bit of an issue. Yeah. But generally, it should be okay.
Yeah, that's where my mind is starting to turn as well. It's just like, so where's your physical damage start arriving from? It's not going to come from the Naga. The Naga's going to be pushing you back out. So can you morph this Storm Spirit into being that big pop damage?
I think actually Visage is the...
Is Visage becomes it?
Yeah. She's a really good damage dealer. He, she, it?
Visage.
So it's like, wait a second.
I will not assume his or her gender. Okay, blink away to the trees and get out. KP, Storm Spirit. Ana so close to potentially finding him in the trees. But this is what I was talking about with KP. He always finds himself in these type of situations. I got to split push, I got to create space. Meanwhile, the jungle, the Ancients, they all get opened up for the Lifestealer as well as for the SF. But this will become harder. Now, Manta Style gets completed over on the Naga Siren. The split push becomes more and more real.
Is he going pipe on the Sand King?
It's a pipe of insight.
I wouldn't have expected that coming out from the Sand King, but it is pretty good. You need some way to deal with the... They do have majority magic damage, especially with the Radiance, and it's really good versus Natural Order, too. And they need some ways to keep the cores alive, because they're the ones that are going to be getting Black Hole, not the Sand King. So having secondary items that actually indirectly or directly buff your cores, like Vlad, Solar Crest, Pipe, are really, really good for this particular game.
All right, KP. He's got a carrier with him. The Infested Lifestealer. So is this that gank time we'll be looking for from Newbee? They haven't got a smoke up just yet. In fact, they're going to find the Enigma conversions. Careful about that. It's going to be really good money that actually just helped him finish his pipe. I actually wonder where Enigma goes now with his talent tree as well. And we're going to start checking this kind of stuff as well.
Roche is up again.
So does any team really want to go in there? It seems hard enough as it is for like any team to come out and top in the fight.
Both sides is very difficult. Radiant side, if they have, maybe if they have more minus armor or they have a smoke, like if they have a Medallion, they can actually probably sneak it in. Medallion just cuts the time down that you take Roche by like a good 5 or 6 seconds, and sometimes that's enough to actually sneak in a fight. They need to be able to get Roche down to like 5 or 10% before the Naga can sleep. And Dire side, they just don't have a good Roche lineup. You mentioned that they don't have any physical damage.
Yeah. It will take so long. Middle lane, the Lifestealer might be in a little bit of trouble. Karka's here to try and get rid of as many of these illusions as possible, and then Storm Spirit jumps in, goes to the silence, the Burrow Strike, creates enough space with the Finger of Death. Ana might be in trouble. A little bit more for U9, and he will fall. Big dominating spree, ended by No Tail. They tried. Newbee tried the Song of the Siren just on the edge. KP fell asleep while he was burrowing out, but the Fog of War, it doesn't protect him now. The creep wave sees him, but KP and Ensnare, they're not going to commit too heavily. Song of the Siren is lost. Familiars, they keep the stuns. Now Ana, he goes in. KP gets a Burrow Strike, and Ana will fall. He went in deep. Support was at range from OG, but not close enough to help him out. That's a dangerous loss as well. No Song of the Siren, but it's also Bloodstone Charges lost. And OG, are you really wanting to do this now?
They'll have to sleep up very soon. That was really good positioning. Notice that Warlock was nowhere in the fight. You could not see him at all.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want from Faith. And he was sitting up to T3. I was watching his positioning to just make sure that if S4 had Blink Tiger at that fight, he still would have been able to cancel the Black Hole. So another kind of fishing sleep. Like he was trying to see how many heroes he can get with the sleep, and he only got one, and only after he had already struck away.
Come on, he just left this party, got into a quick sandstorm, needs time. Yulsef will abide. He still has Burrow Strike available. SC also with the Requiem themselves doing some work. KP, there's your Burrow Strike back up again. Watching the ET split, not really hurting anyone. SC staying inside the pit, and a has to jump back out. The rock will drop. No real kills from an S4. The shortest Black Hole in the history of Dota is gone. And they'll keep their attention now. Newbee towards Roshan with no Enigma, with no Visage up, and no Song of the Siren at the moment. Newbee should be able to claim this Aegis for the second time.
A very awkward call to go into the pit right there. I don't know who made that call, but it was like, yeah, they have to sleep up soon, but they don't actually want to be the ones taking Roche. If you're taking Roche, you can't sleep and finish Roche.
Yep.
It's just not a really good place for them to be at all. Looks like Enigma did take the respawn time talent, so he's back up right now.
But it's like the indecision, right? Like you saw Notel, the second that mid-fight happens, like, okay, so Ana died, they went directly into Roshan. And then the entire team came back out again, triggered the Shrine, and then went back down towards Roshan.
Yeah, I think Lion's been playing pretty well. He was able to control Storm up in the last 2 fights. Like this fight, he zips in and then just gets destroyed later as they're trying to finish him off. And you mentioned like the items coming out on the Sand King. He's able to stay alive for so long. He doesn't even die at the end of the fight. Ana's controlled up on the right side, and S4 he's like, what do I do here? There's just an SF over here.
It was a nothing play. It's like, okay, I may as well use this. The Black Hole will be back off cooldown by the time the next fight happens. I'll just commit.
The Warlock's been playing a lot better than the first 20 minutes too. That time he's like, you don't always want to use it for Black Hole. He saw a kill opportunity on Enigma. He's like, who cares if he holds? He's just going to die if he does.
Yeah.
If he drops the rock at that particular moment. So now we see the Blink Dagger on Warlock, so it makes life a lot harder for Ana, I would say, because he's the one that actually needs to look for the Warlock in the
Ana's
fights.
hiding. I'm wondering if that Remnant's actually going to get triggered, because you got KP in the lane, but Ana in the tree lines and does his Ball Lightning TP out. No one's close enough to stop it. Kako blinked down, but a little too late.
That was risky.
Yeah. But I think he understood too, like he didn't know exactly where they have vision. And it's actually KP cashing out a Dire Courier as well.
His pipe saved him in that fight too. If he'd gone for a more greedy build like Scepter, he would have died.
He also was able to dodge, like the last Soul Assumption, he dodged with Sandstorm too. He was underneath, I believe, a Dire Sentry Ward during that fight. Because they kept the damage pumping into him.
Enigma's falling off a lot too. Enigma's generally, especially with this build, the Midas Octarine, when you get it this early, you're supposed to be able to come out way ahead in gold. He should not be number 4 right now. Ideally, you'd be probably like 18,000, 19,000 net worth.
Yeah.
But slowly but surely, they will be catching up. Newbee, in the meantime, their cores are getting massive. Satanic already out my Shadow Fiend, so now he has a way to deal with the Black Hole because
he's got a double way. He's got the Aegis Immortal plus the Satanic at the moment.
With BKB Butterfly, your mention of them having not enough physical damage is coming to fruition.
Yep. And this is where you can now fall back to OG secondary strat. Like, you've still got Naga Illusions, you've still got the ET Spirit. It's very difficult for Newbee to go inside the base, mainly because the creep wave won't come with them. Their heroes will survive, but the creep waves will not, which means backdoor regeneration becomes a real problem for that push coming in from Newbee.
Time to split push, wait for some more items. Enigma, no sign of anything on his quick buy yet.
Oh, is that a Courier Snipe in mid? I think Ada's looking for it. Yeah, he managed to claim it. Just catching it on the way back out again. A little cheeky, but stops the resupply coming to Newbee in the front lines.
Just need to waste their time, and they're trying to desperately cut the creep wave off, and Newbee are trying to kill the Naga Illusions before the creep waves die.
Good luck. Like, the Lion has to do so much work to try and keep him down. It's actually Diffusal Blade being built over on a Naga. Blink Fire. Oh, they found him. They found the real Notel, but what do? You're too far away. Like, you can't attack in. Notel is still very tanky. That's why KP tries to get into a better spot, but Ana already there.
Warlock's pretty good at hiding. They're trying to scout him out with the Naga Illusion. Like, where is Warlock?
He's a long way away. But the top lane was still pushed nicely from the Storm Spirit, so the tier 2 tower was dropped. So while, yes, it's a good push from Newbee to take that mid tower, they remove all the outer towers, you still have the issue where you haven't taken a tier 3, so you can't attack the shrines just yet. And OG have the 2 tier 2 towers down they want to have down. It's the side lanes. They'll keep pushing this out. They'll try and keep splitting up a team that wants to be together when they push up. They're splitting Newbee out.
Look at Fly's gold. Spent on support items. 3730 gold spent on support items. That's a lot. That's like way more than you need for the challenge.
This game is more than a challenge.
It's just a lot of gold though. 3730 is actually incredible amounts.
He actually had to, because like we checked the head-to-head actually with Jirax and KP, and I think we did this like maybe 15 minutes ago, and Jirax had nothing. Like, he had Tranquil Boots and that was it. So after that point, I think Fly has just stepped up and said, okay, I've got everything that I need to do the fights, now it's up to you. So they get their double force-ups, they can play the maneuverability game, they can start cutting the lifestealer. You get Glimmer Cape as well, more problematic if you're trying to get these pickoffs. So everything is just survivability and hold the high ground, and then when the fights happen, make the most out of it too.
Survivability is important, but you also have to look at the damage. The Visage is going to be their main source of physical damage. They need like solar AC is pretty standard, I would say, on the Visage, and they actually really need it because of the butterfly and whatnot on the SF, and not to mention the heart on the Lifestealer now.
It's either that or OG just play for the team fight. Like if they just play for that, like play for the high ground, you get a good Song of the Siren off. The BKBs are going to really start to drop for SF, and he's not going to go Refresher Orb on his.
BKB, but Satanic's another survivability tool though, so he can still survive because they don't actually have any ways to stop him from attacking except for Black Hole.
Yeah, Black Hole's kind of it.
Yeah.
But either that or you get the familiar drops, but keeping the familiars alive in a fight also appears to be very difficult for Fly.
Yeah. That's one thing that Newbee has been really good at, is killing the familiars.
Yeah. There's Refresher Orb now for S4, so if it is the one thing that works, he's going to have two of them.
He needs it
and
badly.
That's on top of the Blink Dagger, so he's going to have a really good position with the BKB Black Hole and then being able to go straight again.
It shouldn't have gotten to this point for OG though. Now they're having to brute force with items over finessing them with sleep into Enigma Hole. Like imagine if they were actually playing from behind and they were down in gold. That's how they would actually have to play. They can't rely on the Refresher to outplay the Warlock. But now that the game has gotten to this point, they need items to make up for something that bad that's potentially going to happen in a team fight, which is fine.
All right, so again, back to the farm kind of style.
Isn't this Naga game interesting, Toby?
This Naga game's amazing, man. Like I'm so
really
interested.
No, this game is getting really good. Lifestealer is super fat now.
Yep.
SECC is super fat, and they've weathered the storm in between the disastrous early game, and they've gotten to their BKBs while still actually having other items. Like if you go BKB and don't do anything else, that's pretty useless. But now they have BKB and then some, and they've transitioned quite nicely. You
know, the reason why I love these type of games is just because it can come down to one big decision. The longer this game goes on, the more there is on the line, the more items there are for these extraordinary players just to capitalize on. And it's like, I'm wondering just how these fights end up being painted. You're seeing OG now smoking forward. They want to target. They only see U9, and KP acting almost like an old school Earthshaker. Sitting behind him, he's going to be that saving grace if it's possible. But Newbee understand what's going on. They're very cautious. They're very experienced with this type of game, and this is just a fantastic, it's almost a dance between these two teams to see who can get their foot just under the other and trip them up.
They have a huge issue with burst on OG's side. Like, let's say Ana jumps the Sand King, because their only hard disable is Black Hole and Electric Vortex. That's it. They have no other, I suppose, Visage stuns, but that's pretty short and pretty unreliable.
Yeah.
So how do you actually kill the Sand King in a Vortex? You can't. There's like just not enough damage from them right now, which is a big issue, because now KP can just sit on the sideline and look around in the fights. He doesn't even have that much HP. It's 1560 HP. That's not very much at all.
Yeah.
But with the pipe, with the defensive from the Yules and all these other items,
I wonder if it's almost worth like building into the
heart for him.
It's stupid. Like he's gonna start to max out items. Like, he's already got the Ether Lens.
BKB, I would say, is better than Heart. Heart is not that great versus the.
But he's
Enigma.
looking at 4-star for the moment. That's gonna basically max out his items.
Sand King has this sick regen talent. He has like something ridiculous in terms of his regen. 50 health regen at level 25. 50. You don't need Heart on the guy, at least for regeneration.
Just resist and regen. That's going to be the play for him.
50 regen. That just boggles my mind sometimes with some of these talents. That just sounds so godly. That's 10 Ring of Health. You can't even fit that in your inventory.
Balance, man. That's what it is in Dota.
It's pretty good, though.
Well, you asked for
I love that talent.
You asked for one thing to happen, and that was for Notel to find farm. He's now #1 on the net worth.
That was fast. How'd that happen?
Everything that we just split pushing all the lanes. Like, this is around that time when everyone just starts holding together. You had the ET and the Enigma sitting next to the Secret Shop, and Notel took all the side lanes. Ana has been almost 100% focused on the jungle. And normally he's been very aggressive going over towards the Radiant side of the jungle. So he's trying to take the farm away from Newbee, and is starting to hit them on the board. obviously you're still running hand of minds, and we're obviously going to also get to a point where the money will probably stop mattering because everyone's going to 6 slot up. The SF's going to 6 slot up, so it doesn't matter if he's going to be number 1 net worth. It's going to be about buyback timing. It's going to be about having all the rest of your critical items you want. He's almost finished up the Monkey King bar, and then it's Moonshard, BT level 2, and you're basically done.
Bloodthorn on U9 too. Huh. That's actually quite curious. Normally you'll see MKB or Mjolnir. Those are the 2 items that you generally see. Mjolnir to clear out the Naga illusions and to deal damage if you're not able to right-click people, or MKB to just slice up the Naga as quickly as possible. The Bloodthorn is good versus the Storm and the Naga Siren, so that's actually a really smart item choice.
That's definitely good against the Storm when he didn't pick up a Lincoln Sphere.
He had it on quick buy.
He did? Okay,
yeah.
So we did actually get that. Okay, so it's Lincoln's Blood and the Orchid.
Now they might need Lotus Orbs on Dire side too, so the items are starting to rack up. Yeah, so you have to get a Lotus Orb versus the Lion.
It's double the whole time, and you can see OG grouping up for a smoke.
They'll dodge number 3.
They'll dodge the gank of Newbee, and now they come out. 5-man strong, double black hole from the Enigma, ready to rock and rumble.
But OG can't do Roche themselves. That's a huge issue with this lineup.
They almost have to bait Newbee into coming to check it, which is sort of what happened before. And Kaka's checking it now.
Checking is not a big deal. They need them to, like, if it's just 1 or 2 heroes, it's not a big deal for them because you need to be able to commit whole to this fight.
Is Kaka actually completing an entire heart? Like that Lion? He has a revert. Yeah, he just needs a bit booster, and he's going to have a heart over on the Lion. KP trouble. There's your first stun. They have no life steals inside. He'll pop back out again. The Gem of True side. Lost Song of the Siren. U9, that rage won't last long enough. He's going to go to bed before he makes it home. Sleeping in the streets, and OG, they're going to mug him. They just wrap around the wall on Rock, though. It hits perfectly. The BKB wasn't up, and now the Burrow strike out. Where's your timing? You buy back over on KP. He'll actually dodge the Solar Suns, and that Sandstorm trying to do work, but the double sentry's down from OG. They had the vision. The Rock is gone. Song of the Siren is down as well. And both teams will disengage.
So much for not dying during an Electric Vortex. I think he had the mentality that he couldn't die during Electric Vortex.
Wait, is this going to happen again? Last time this happened, we had like a 1-for-1 trade-off. Yeah, the buyback came out from the SK. OG sort of went for Roshan.
They have Black Hole this. They have
the refresher this time.
Yeah, he actually popped it a little bit late. I don't know why he didn't use it immediately, but regardless.
Oh, they're coming up. There's Kaka, jumps in for the Hex, able to find that initial target, but Anna, S4, there's your 2-man hole. Can he bring them all down? Lion's the first one to fall. U9, he survives, and now it's time to fight with the epicenter for KP. Legendary on top, it's a double kill for KP. They will fall, and they'll claim it. Anna will die as well. Almost able to TP out, but into the 9 stop for the Bloodstone. It's not enough to keep T-Rex alive, and Newbee, they will wipe OG from the face of the pit, and then take Roshan to boot.
Oh, God. I thought he got the SF with the hole, and then he didn't. And then they popped the Shrine, and then you could see no one dying.
Let's see that again. Oh.
Wow.
Man.
That you really wanted to get SEC, but they have no reserve reward up there. Not close enough. I actually can't believe that it didn't get the SF this fight. And Anna's trying his best to stop the damage, but SEC is just chucking away at them.
Oh, boy. OG, they've been so good, but this is now the second fight you've seen Newbee come out on top. You mentioned the Observer Ward, I think that's it again. It's the vision game. Newbee knew exactly what they could get away with, and they got away with it.
There's only been one positioning blunder by SECC, and that was near the T1 on top. And after that, they've been phenomenal at spacing themselves out properly and just making life really difficult for S4. He's trying his best to get as many people as he can in the black hole. Yep. There were 2 black holes, and I think he got 2 people. I guess Warlock kind of had it at the very end. I don't know if that really counts, but he got 2 black holes, an average of like 2 heroes per, and one of them support. Kaka has the respawn talent too, so he doesn't even really care if he dies.
Yeah, respawn talent as well as the 2.3k life and a full heart. Wait, he's got a second heart in his quick buy. He can't go double heart on a Lion, can he?
Why not?
This isn't a thing. Like,
he can do what he wants.
Like, having Aghanim himself is going to be better for him. Oh, the catch out, Kaka, trying to go deep to put down the Observe Ward, and he is orchid up and will die. So even with the heart, he won't survive. KP, a quick Sandstorm, he gets caught out by the Song of the Siren. This is big. Remember, KP expected his buyback in the fight before, but there was no damage. He blinks away. TP support coming towards Faith. SC will arrive in the back of the BTs. And OG have to consider if they still want this fight. No Song of the Siren, no way to disengage. Yes, He's got the cause. The rock will fall. The BKB will protect him. And the epicenter. KP's going to bring in the damage, but NC goes down. 99 seconds without him. The Aegis Immortal. It brings life back again to U9. Ready to fight another day, but Kenny, he's instead, he's controlled, and he's losing his friends. KP's gone, and now it's U9 on the world. He'll infest and take the column. He'll try and survive inside the big chaotic offering. It won't be enough. Pop back out, diffused up, controlled up, and brought down. Lion was trying to make it back in time to help him, but Kaka knows it was futile.
Without the Lion, they actually have no control for the Storm. So Storm could do whatever he wanted in that fight. Yeah, 2x Midnight Pole, that's a lot of damage.
All right, OG. They want to enter the base. Double buybacks will have to be committed here from Newbee to defend it. And there's your first one. It's SC back. The Orchid silence. Well, Lion will survive that. One Familiar gets picked off. And OG, the buyback from the SF may be enough to dissuade them from going to the Tier 3 towers. And in fact it is. They will retreat at the 50-minute mark. They're happy. They're happy to send us into probably 2 a.m. to finish day 1 of DAC.
I actually can't believe that he's going for 2 hearts. I mean, the heart in the first place is surprising. Usually you just get BKB. It's like, yeah, whatever, I'll just BKB it off. And they don't really have that much solution to BKB, but the heart's very curious.
It's the whole idea, right? I survive. I will survive.
Man, this cooldown reduction is insane, though. Look, like the Enigma almost has both his black holes up, and Lifesteal hasn't even respawned.
We actually have to start renaming Kaka. Kaka is the doctor. The man with 2 hearts. With a low respawn time, is basically regeneration power.
I wonder if he's going to take the +3 mana
Kaka,
drain.
keep running, keep running. He'll go invis. Oh, S4 doesn't see him. They lost the gem before, and they do not have any vision of him this time. So he disappears.
So how is Naga doing? Naga's almost topped out, right? Naga is 6-slotted it with an Abyssal Blade.
He brought that Abyssal Blade up freshly after the mid push before.
Abyssal Blade is tough. It's good for the Lifestealer, but it's not so great versus the Shadow Fiend. SCZC might need a refresher for 2 big ABs and 2 Satanic. I don't actually know.
What's he done? He's just buying the Hyperstone for now.
It's just hard. If you're sitting in 2 Midnight Poles, you're just going to die.
Yeah.
Because it lasts longer than the Satanic. And they are going to hold him, or try to hold him. I guess he just has to stay out of the hole. They probably need more Force Staffs on the Radiant side to play around Midnight Pulse.
Well, he's got the Dragonlance sitting on the side. Maybe it is worth finishing a Hurricane Pike and keeping that up for the. But having a Hurricane Pike when you're a 6-slotted SF feels wrong.
Ideally, you just have like Lotuses and Force Staffs on your supports.
Can you subscribe to the Book of Kai and not try and raise your life, but actually raise your armor? Go for the double butterfly.
Double butterfly doesn't help versus the issue though. He died at Midnight Pulse last fight, not the right clicks.
It's like if he raises his life though, it's going to be even more difficult.
He would not be a good SF player.
I would not.
I'm actually a terrible SF player myself.
That's why I play simple heroes like Venom Hancer. Let me put a ward down. Hey, it does all my damage for me. Yay!
That's too many actives on that hero.
It's just ... That's all.
So he's going Lotus Orb 2 on Visage. So
okay.
that means all their damage is coming from their cores. No firepower from the supports. Really have to rely on Ana to do a lot of the damage here.
Well, he does have the Bloodstone, the Bloodthorn finished up, and the bypass finishing is Skadi to do so. Also, not dying is a very useful thing. So he's not falling well behind. It is a Manta on the quick buy of Lifestealer.
He has problems against the Orchid.
I think he also has problems with the ensnare. He got locked in when he popped back out of the Aegis Immortal, and they just kited him out from that point.
That's why they need the Lotuses on supports, or Lotus and Force Staffs, so they can buff up the cores, just like the Dire side is doing. If you have to waste your money on that Manta style, like you want MKB at this point as a Lifestealer. Or, yeah, MKB, maybe even... I'm trying to think of any other items for Lifestealer. I think Butterfly's pretty good too, but you'd have to rely on
You can't really buy those items though, because right now I think Warlock is focused on staying alive, and staying alive, which means he can't get out there and find any farm. He's the lowest net worth. Lion would be the one person that can do it. He's putting himself in the thick of things, but he's still looking to be the doctor.
I think Sand King could too. Instead of a BKB, he could potentially grab a Grab a Lotus.
Do you actually turn the Lion into this position of saying, you know what, I'm going to be that front person where I want you to attack me and not everybody else? Because it does take him a lot to bring him down.
He has no armor. So he died very quickly last time. You get Solar Crested, you're like very close to negative armor as the Lion.
So then the AC makes no sense. Like Shiva's would probably make more sense over on him than the secondary heart. But I still agree with you, like the items for survivability with the 4-staffs, that also makes more sense.
Yeah.
Keep SC in the best position.
Lotus gives you armor though. He had like what, 5 armor when I was looking at him, a few from Tranks and then +5 from the AC. So 13 armor with an aura, that's pretty low.
SC showing himself. There's still a lot of Newbee behind. There's your BKB into the black hole, holding SC down. The first rock is going to drop, but S4 wants to go for a secondary black hole. He's losing his life quickly, and he knew he had to let it rip, and they've got the kill. No SC for almost 2 minutes, but what damage can now be done? You're looking for it, the epicenter, KP, he's slung, and maybe with a Burrow Strike forward. They do have that Infest Life Sillies to work. Ana jumping back forward, looking for his target onto the Lion. So Kaka is down, and Song of the Siren will now be committed. They will hold him there. Faith wants to start his TP out. Malphus will stop that one. So it's KP and Faith, 2 different sides, 2 different battles, but the result is the same. It is death all round. Lifestealer will buy back. Lion's got his, but this is the best window of opportunity OG have had in a while to go high ground.
Huge play by S4. The Shadow Fiend's the only one that can do range damage during Black Hole. So he's not going to die during BKB Black Hole if he holds SF, and he just holds him twice. And there's nothing that they can do about it unless you get Refresher on Warlock. That's the only way to stop it, surprisingly.
Oh, U9 trying to solo hold this bottom, but you can see the 3-pronged attack coming in. S4 and Jirax are working the bottom lane. The Lotus Orb will protect him, and he knows it. So U9 has to be cautious, but middle lane's being beaten down. Faith will come out as well. The Lion is back alive again. Looks like Ana is going to retreat out. There's a big wave pushing in through top, and in fact, you seeing the TP top lane as well. Someone has to go up here to defend it. Without the SF, they don't have the clearance. KP's coming back alive again, so there's the Nagasar and Illusion's doing the push. U9, Orchid on him, they've got to be careful. They can't lose U9 here. KP with the Burrow Strike, trying to create space. U9 able to back out. S4, he's let the BKB run. He's got 7 seconds. That black hole is back off cooldown. They cannot keep this engagement going, or can they? They baited out longer. Kaka on the run. Heart won't protect you now. The buyback is out. Lion's back right. Your black hole! He catches 2 on the back line. Kaka can't stop it. They're going to lose everything here, Newbee, and maybe even the game with no life steal for 2 minutes. They do. They call it. 57 minutes, and OG will take game 1 of this winners bracket semi-final best of 3.